appearances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Diksha Gurudev, Nitya-lila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad, Astota Sat Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and the same unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Shiksha Gurudev, Nitya-lila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad, Astota Sat Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, to all of our Gaudiya Guru Varga and all the assembled devotees. After that very kind but larger than life introduction, I'd like to start off with two disclaimers. One is that I could not fully understand the Hindi of Sripad Bhaktivedanta Madhav Maharaj, and so I may repeat some things. Excuse me for that. Second disclaimer is that, as Maharaj mentioned, I travel and give classes all over the world. But when I'm speaking in front of Srila Gurudev's most senior preachers, sannyasis and other senior preachers, I can do nothing but bungle and bungle. So please excuse me if you notice that. So just as Radha and Krishna are one soul in two bodies, similarly, Krishna and Sri Baladeva are one soul in two bodies. Baladeva is the second body of Sri Krishna. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna's original form and manifestations are named. That is, in his original form, Krishna is Swayam Rup. When he's dancing in Ras Leela with Srimati Radhika, he's Swayam Rup. When he's dancing with all the gopis, billions of gopis in Rasa Leela, he's Swayam Prakash. And when he has a little bit variation in his form, by color, by mood, that is his Vaibhav Prakash. Baladeva is the Vaibhav Prakash of Sri Krishna. Krishna's mood, Krishna's complexion, as you know, is Shyam, blackish, and Baladeva's complexion is like milk. Krishna carries a flute, and Baladeva carries buffalo horn made of leaves. Krishna has Sevya Abhiman. I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ishvara Param Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha. Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karma Karanam. Whereas Baladeva has Sevaka Abhiman. He's constituted of seva to Krishna, although he's Sri Krishna himself. And what kind of seva does he do? As you know, there are 5 rasas: Shanta, Dasya, Santa, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. Baladeva's rati is called Sampur Rati, when there's a combination of a few sthayi bhavs. That is called Sampur Rati. So Baladeva serves because he wants to serve in all ways. He serves in Shantarati as the land and serves all of Krishna's associates, his animals, everything as the land. He also is enabled in that way to look from the land at all of Krishna's pastimes in all of Krishna's different aspects in the different rasas. Baladeva also has Dasyarati. He's the supreme personality of servant to Godhead. He serves Krishna in Vrindavan, in Mathura, in Dwarka, in Vaikuntha. You heard from Sripad Madhav Maharaj how in Mathura he is Mool Sankrishna and expands into the other members of the Chaturvyuha in Dwarka also. And then he creates all the jivas who are serving Krishna in Mathura and Dwarka eternally. As in its original form, Baladeva, he manifests all the jivas who are serving eternally in Braj, who have no idea what is Maya, but they know love and love alone and nothing else. He serves Krishna in Vaikuntha as Mahasankrishna, nearby Lord Narayan, and manifests all the jivas who are eternally serving the Lord in Vaikuntha. Then he manifests as Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Kiradakshaya Vishnu, the super soul of all living beings, directing the wanderings of all living beings who are seated as if on a machine made of material energy. And then he expands into Ananta Shesh. And Ananta Shesh serves those three Purusha avatars, Karanadakshaya Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Kiradakshaya Vishnu, in all ways, giving them all comforts as their seats, umbrella, sandals, pillow, and Anantashesh, or the source of Anantashesh, the source of Shesha, Sheshai Tattva, Sri Baladeva Vrindavan. He is the existence potency, Sandivi Shakti, and he serves in all ways. He manifests all forms of the buildings, of Krishna's parents, of Krishna's flute, of Krishna's earrings. And in this way, by becoming Krishna's earrings, he gets to kiss Krishna's cheeks. So he's providing everything for Sri Krishna and all of his incarnations. Then, how is he serving in? He's serving in Shantaras, Dasyaras, and then, of course, Sakyaras as Krishna's intimate cowherd friend. And because Baladeva is Krishna's older brother, in Vedic culture, the elder brother is considered like a parent. And that's why you see, because parental love and Madhurya love, they don't mix together. Although all the rasas serve Madhurya ras, and in turn become nourished by that service. Like, for example, the cows give Krishna an excuse to leave home and associate with gopis out in the forest. And so Krishna loves the cows so much. He himself milks the cows. He puts ghee on his fingers or water on his fingers and lovingly milks the cows, embraces them, caresses them. So by serving Madhurya ras, all the other rasas become nourished.
So Baladeva, serving in Sakyaras and Vatsalyaras simultaneously, he's not supposed to know about what's going on with Krishna's Rasa Leela. And that's why you see in Srila Gurudev's Vedagita painting that Baladeva is way up front and he's holding the buffalo horn. When Srila Gurudeva was instructing me on this painting, I said, but isn't that violence to carry a buffalo horn? You have to break it off the buffalo? No, no, no. Baladev's buffalo horn is green because it's made of palm leaves. So, holding his buffalo horn, you see that although he's way in the front, his eyes are looking behind him, meaning he knows what's going on. But to facilitate the pastimes with the gopis, that is, the gopis are home and they're meditating in envy of all the other Krishnas in Braj, who they consider more fortunate than themselves, and by that absorption, they entered into their own mantras, that their Vedagita, and ended up where they were singing about. And so Baladeva, to facilitate that, he's looking back, but going forward with all the other coward boys who are older than Krishna. Whereas the younger ones, who are Krishna's age, you see they're way in the back, and you see they're going like that, and they're going, Krishna, look at us, look at us. So that leaves Krishna solidly in the middle to share sidelong glances with Srimati Radhika. So, in this way, Baladeva is serving in all the rasas. As you heard from Sri Padma Maharaj, he's also serving in Madhurya Ras as Ananga Manjari. And his same blue beige is on the body of Ananga Manjari, whose complexion is just like camphor. Both white, but hers is like camphor. Then there's a very difficult pastime that he particularly served in. This is a matter of great controversy, and you heard something about this from Sri Padma Maharaj, but I want to share something else. That in Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada's commentary on Chaitanya Bhagavata, he explains that although it's stated that during Holy Leela, some of the gopis were looking towards Baladeva, or when Krishna was performing his Rasa Leela, some of the gopis were not old enough to participate. So when Krishna went to Mathura, those gopis that were previously not old enough, now they were old enough, so they became Baladev's gopis, and he danced with his own gopis. However, Srila Jiva Goswami and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada express that these reasonings are just for loka sangraha, means gathering the masses. That is, it's for those people who have no knowledge of rasa tattva, just to gradually bring them in. Actually, because Balaram has no bhoga vritti, no enjoying spirit, he simply made of seva when Krishna was in Mathura. And then Krishna, even though all of his associates, including Baladeva, pleaded with him to come back to Braj, that everyone is dying, that our part of Krishna didn't come. But Baladeva came to pacify the Brajavasis, and especially the gopis. So in order to pacify the separation mood of the gopis, Baladeva wanted to like give them again the association of Krishna. Gurudev said, there's no harm in this. There's no lust there. Dancing, singing, swinging, playing in the water, playing musical instruments. What is the harm? So Baladev was giving the gopis this opportunity. But the nature of prema is that it's crooked. Everybody thinks that if I do this, this is going to happen, but another thing happens. Like Krishna left Vrindavan thinking that, as you know, you all know, you're all advanced devotees, you all know the story of the pastime of Prem Sarovara, when Krishna was thinking that if I'm there, Radharani thinks I'm not there, and if I'm not there, Radharani will embrace a tumultuary, or she will scold a cloud, thinking that it's me, and she'll be in mine. Therefore, if I go permanently, then they'll always be happy. They'll be able to eat and think that they're with me. But of course, it didn't happen like that. Everything got, quote unquote, worse, more separation. And then there's so many mysteries in that realm that we find in Srila Gurudev's Arjuna Ratha Yatra and Secret Truths of the Bhagavatam. So, since Baladev was thinking, I will pacify and subdue the separation of the gopis, which he did for a moment. And then what happened? Because the nature, Srila Gurudev quoted Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, that meeting and separation go hand in hand to nourish each other forever. So although they were pacified and felt the association of Krishna, then their separation got a million times worse. So they began weeping uncontrollably. And Baladev realized that he couldn't help them at all. So instead of helping them, he merged into their mood of separation. So much so that he became black like Krishna. And therefore you find that black Balaram, I think you've heard that from Maharaj, in Dauji, in Mahavan, and in Madhuvan. And then he took each of the gopis to a different kunj. And when the gopis were increasing their separation now, they were crying out, Ha Nam, Ha Ramani, praise the Kwasi Kwasi, Mahabhuja, O Krishna, where are you? So Baladev also began weeping when he took each gopi to a kunj. Oh Krishna, why did you leave Vrindavan? And then he called for Krishna to come. And Krishna immediately appeared and entered with each gopi into each kunj and fulfilled all of their heartfelt desires to serve them, to serve him in the amorous mellow. So these are very secret things that Gurudev said he wants known everywhere. So there's other, that Maharaj mentioned, other difficult pastimes. That is, you heard about the kidnapping of Subhadra. So how is it, Gurudev is asking, that Baladev is the second body of Krishna? He's made of Seva Abhiman. How is it that he could disagree with Krishna? He only appeared to disagree. Why? Because Krishna expands as Baladev in order to increase the ecstasy of his loving moods. So this exciting pastime with the kidnapping of Subhadra and Arjuna pretending to be a sannyasi who even Baladev in Naravat Leela bowed down to, and worshipped, not knowing, just like when Brahma stole the cows and boys for 1 year. By Narada Lila, Balaram didn't know. Why? To increase the excitement of the pastimes. When, at the end, when Bhima was fighting with Duryodhana, and Krishna indicated to Bhima that Duryodhana's thighs are not protected. Although his body is like iron, his thighs were not at all like iron. I think you all know that pastime of his mother glancing over him. Come here, I'll give you unlimited power. And Krishna said, Duryodhana, why are you going naked to your mother? At least cover your thighs with a gamsha. So then, when Gandhari opened her eyes after the powerful eyes empowered Duryodhana, and she saw the gamsha, Krishna's playing the trick. So, Krishna indicated the thigh, which is against all Kshatriya rules, but Bhima did it. And because Balaram has a special affection for Duryodhana, he took his club as if to kill Bhima. So Krishna said, oh brother, you came here just on time. You're just on time. But were you on time when Duryodhana tried to disrobe our cousin, Draupadi? Where were you? Where were you when they took illegally Abhimanyu into their camp and pretending to be friends and embrace him? They all brutally stabbed him with their swords. And where were you, oh brother, when Duryodhana put the Pandavas in the house of lac to burn them all to death? Where were you? So Baladeva became silent and left. Because really, he is the chief assistant in all the pastimes of Sri Krishna. So, as you know, he's as a Kandaguru Tattva. In the mood of a Kandaguru Tattva, he helped the gopis who were crying for Krishna. Therefore, he called for Krishna. Please come. Why did you leave Vrindavan? So Srila Gurudev explained, because he's a Kandaguru Tattva, when the Guru sees that after a long time of performing sadhana bhakti, when by the mercy of Guru, some sambandha jnana arises in a disciple's heart, and from that, great eagerness comes, and then desperation comes. At that time, Sri Guru prays to Radha and Krishna to come into the heart of that disciple. Or, in other words, that Radha and Krishna in the heart of Sri Guru at the time of Bhav comes into the heart and gives that Shuddha Shakra Visheshatma into the heart of the disciple. As a Kandaguru Tattva, Baladeva killed Denakasura, who was an ass, a donkey. The donkey runs after his she-donkey, and although she kicks him in the head, whenever he comes for sex life, he keeps running after her. The donkey is the epitome of ignorance. And when the donkey sees lots and lots of grass, he thinks like this time, there's so much grass, he thinks, oh, I must have not eaten anything. So he gets skinny. And then in the hot summer, when there's no grass, he thinks, oh, I must have eaten everything. There's nothing left. So he gets fat. And he carries 2 tons of load on his back because the master hangs a carrot 2 inches in front of his nose. And every moment he's thinking, the next step, I'm going to get that carrot. But he never does. So ignorant materialists, Balaram comes as a Kandaguru Tattva to kill our ignorance. And Columbusura, big hypocrite. Look, I'm a cavalry boy. But really he wanted to kill Krishna and Balaram. So he was a hypocrite. So if we come and pretend that we're devotees, but we have so many ulterior motives to fulfill so many material desires, then Akhanda Guru Bhakta Baladev kills that for us. So Baladev ki jai.
Jai.
Baladeva Purnima ki jai. Baladeva Purnima Maha ki jai. We pray that He will bestow upon us His mercy so that He gives us full faith in Sri Guru and Sri Guru Tattva and takes away all of our faith in the illusory energy. Lord, pray and
Hare
friendship over to you, Lord, for this evening.
हरे कृष्णा। अभी अभी हमारे स्नापरण दर्जी गुरुदेव प्राइम मिनिस्टर से मिलकर के आए। प्रेसिडेंट से
Both.
प्राइम मिनिस्टर